Hey there, everyone. Ryan Schul here. Welcome to my channel. This is all about data science, machine learning, advanced analytics, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to continue in this sort of area that I'm trying to explore, sort of this new discipline that I'm trying to expose more for myself and for y'all too. It's about AI agents. I started this journey a couple of months ago, and I'm expanding on it right now. So today I want to look at a new project where we create AI agents to reduce credit card charges based on the recommendations of an AI agent that's exposed to these charges and says, okay, you're spending X amount on this, maybe you should cut back. Or you typically spend about a median amount of money on this, but then all of a sudden it spikes up in 1 month. Maybe we need to address this, right? Like, we want to try to control the charges on our credit card and not let it get too wayward, right? And then try to do a reversal here, an about face, and take this money that we can potentially save from charges on our credit card and spending too much money, and actually invest that in the stock market. I'm going to ask the AI agent to make recommendations for me to use this extra money to put into some type of investment product. Okay, so we're going to start. This video is going to be kind of different from the others. A lot of the videos are given specific, explicit instructions. I tell the computer what to do, and the computer is very obedient, so it does it, right? Some of the videos I did are very non-explicit, very open-ended. Here's very general guidelines. You tell me what I need to do, right? That's almost like a clustering type of experiment, right? But this AI agent that I came up with today, I'm going to showcase this in just a minute. I'm going to start with very explicit instructions. I'm going to tell the computer what I need it to do. It's going to do that in a very disciplined manner. But then I'm going to ask the agent to tell me what I need to do. All of a sudden, like, I'm going to give control to the agent. I want to see what it comes back with, and if it makes sense, I will, have more confidence, more reassurance that this AI agent is capable of making decent investment recommendations. Okay, so let's jump into it. We are going to create a synthetic but realistic data set that represents typical credit card transactions. So I don't have access to other people's credit card transactions. That would be crazy. That would be insane, right? And I can't show you my credit card transactions because that's confidential, right? But I'm going to create a synthetic data set that would realistically show what a normal person might spend on different products over the course of several months and going back in time over 1 calendar year. So we're going to look at a few different types of purchases: gas, groceries, beer, wine, auto insurance, cell phone. These are some necessities, right? Dining out, entertainment. These things are more luxury items. They're not necessity items. And then shopping, health and fitness, and travel. So I went ahead and created a data frame here. Let me hit Control Enter to refresh the cell. And I'm going to, again, create realistic but synthetic data set that we can work with, right? So here we have the date, the merchant, the category, and the amount. I'm looking at the head of the data frame right here. We have 498, almost 500 rows, so 500 transactions in 12 months. The head of the data frame says 8/1/2024. That's almost 1 year ago. Right now it's 7/3/2025, so beginning of July. We're going back just over 1 year. And then the most recent transactions over here are 7/23, 7/24, 7/25, 25. Okay, these dates haven't even happened yet. This is a couple weeks into the future, but it's a made-up data set. So in the example we see here, we've created a dictionary object called categories. If, however, if you look close, this is a dictionary, right? So here is the curly brackets, right? Here's the key, and here's the values: key value, key value, key value. So this is a dictionary, right? If by chance you have a CSV file that you download from Chase Bank or Wells Fargo or Bank of America or whatever, you have your data in CSV format, you could just import it. It's even easier, and do the import right here. All the code is highlighted right here. That's how you do the import, and your data frame, once it's imported into Python, would look like that, right? So there's the sample code. In my case, it's slightly different. This is a dictionary, but this doesn't really matter. It's just two different types of data structures, but the end game is going to be exactly the same. So we talked about data frames. We talked about dictionaries. This is a list. If you have square brackets, it's a list. It's a different type of data structure. In Python, it doesn't really matter what you use. There's pros and cons to either one and to all these things. And you can easily convert from a list into a dictionary, from the dictionary into a list, from a list into a data frame, and so on and so forth. There's all kinds of ways to mutate the data in different fashions, right? So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and create a data frame, right? So we'll get everything structured. It came in the dictionary format, but we're going to reorient everything and reset that into a data frame. So I have the date, merchant, category, and the amount. So you can see that right here, date, merchant, category, and amount. So that looks good, right? Hopefully, no major questions. If you have to hit the pause button and do some Googling for some of these terms, by all means, do that. I'm going to share all this code with you guys so you have everything you need to copy and paste into your own Jupyter Notebook environment and run this analysis for yourself, right? So I'll share the code with you when I share the video a little bit later today. So as good practice, I'm going to convert the date into an actual formal Python designated date. Like this is actually a timestamp. This is date and time, so that's okay. We can work with this. I'm going to create everything into an actual date. So we're kind of going to drop off this stuff right here. Now, this could be useful in some scenarios. In this case, I don't need the timestamp necessarily. In some cases, if you're doing like a time series analysis throughout the course of the day, you might need that. In this case, we don't really need that. So I'm going to convert everything to a date and then refactor all the dates into months. That's what this line of code does right here. Then we are going to look at monthly category spends and group by the month and the category and sum the amount. So we're taking all the months, all the categories, and summing all the amounts. So everything is aggregated together. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. And then we're going to look at monthly rolling spend and the last month. We're going to look at the last month right here, and then the monthly rolling average and the latest month. Okay, so if I go ahead and hit Control Enter, we can see a quick view right here. So we have travel, shopping, cell phone, groceries, dining out, gas, entertainment, wine and beer, and auto insurance, right? So these are all the transactions for the past year, everything grouped by category and by amount and summed together. That's what this line of code does, right? So this is the whole credit card statement right here, summed up into about 10 different rows or whatever. Everything is aggregated by amount and by category. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Now at this point, we can estimate monthly savings if the top 3 overspending categories are reduced by 20%. So in this case, I'm going to tell the computer, look at the top 3 spending categories, which is pretty obvious right here. The category travel, almost 10,000, shopping, 5,400, and cell phone, 4,720. So I know what you're thinking, 4,720 for an annual cell phone plan. It's a little bit high. This is kind of made up data, right? I'm not too concerned about the cell phone. I'm trying to illustrate the point. And for some people, this could be very realistic too. Like my cell phone is probably a fraction of that, probably closer to 400 per year. For this guy or girl, they make a lot of calls for some reason. It's 10 times more than mine is. But just humor me, okay? Let's go with it. So estimated total savings if the top 3 overspending categories are reduced by 20%. So let's say we have a lot in travel, a lot of shopping, lots cell phone bills. If we can reduce this by 20%, what is overall savings going to look like, right? Let's take a look at this and do some quantitative analysis, very basic quant analysis. But what does it look like if we can save 20%? How much is that actually? Like I can estimate, right? If I want to see like real numbers here. And then with this savings of 20%, like if I do 10 and 5, 15 and 4, that's a little bit over, it's a little bit under. It's like 15,000. 2 and 5 is 3,000. We're going to save about $3,000. Just ballpark and just giving the best guess here. So we see shopping, travel, beer, and wine. These are high spending categories: shopping, travel, and beer and wine. These are the numbers. Now, here are some investment options to consider, right? High yield CD. We can put 25% of our money into that. 25% in US Treasuries, 30% of our money can go into S&P 500 index fund, and 20% into individual stocks. Sum that together, that's 100%. So whatever savings we're going to get over here, this 10,000, 15,000 approximate total times 20%, we're going to save about $3,000. We're going to allocate that 3,000, 25% to high yield bonds, 25% to Treasuries, 3% to S&P, and 2% to stocks. Okay, so let me go ahead and get some numbers here. Again, looking at a monthly basis, grouping by month and category, and looking at the total amount, total monthly totals for travel, travel, beer, and wine. These are the total monthly savings, right? So moving on, again, looking at things on a monthly basis. That's how your credit card company will usually give you a summary report based on the prior month, right? Or your spending transactions and all the historical charges that you accumulated on your card. So again, we're going to look at the month, the category, and sum up the amount. So Control Enter to refresh the cell. And you can see here, here's the 12 months. July 2024 to June 2025, and here's the categories, right? So travel, beer and wine, groceries, dining out, and entertainment. So if we move on right here, we can see a plot of this. I always say a picture is worth 1,000 words. We can see right here, this is travel. So 1,400, almost 15. Oh, there it is, 1,466 on travel. Here is 1,434. And then of course you can turn these on or turn these off, and the chart will adjust according to which categories are turned on and turned off, right? Okay, and then of course you can turn them on again. I love these Plotly charts because they're dynamic, they're interactive. You can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can see all the details behind it, right? And that's the zoomed out view. So we're generating insights based on the increase or decrease in category month over month spending. Let me refresh this, and I'm going to create a little loop. So again, we have the month end right here, summing the month and the category, or aggregating my month and category, summing the amount, and monthly percentage change just to get the relative change for the monthly expenses. And I'm creating a little loop for category and percent in the latest changes. If we go over here, Control F, latest changes come from here. This is a data frame with monthly percent change. And last month, we're sorting in ascending order equals false. So descending order, so the highest to the lowest, that's descending order. We are going through the top 5 items in this list. And if you want to even see more, we could do more. We could do 10, top 10. Your spending on shopping increased 89% compared to last month. So that's a big jump, guys. That's almost 100% increase in shopping. So like, why are we doing this? What's going on? What's driving this? We have to take a step back, hit the pause button, and say, is this more of a luxury item or more of a necessity? So you need necessities to live. Luxury items are exactly what it sounds like. It's a luxury. You don't need that. You want to have that, probably. It's nice to have it. Feels good when you buy it. But when you make your credit card payment 30 days later, then you feel kind of depressed, right? Because now all of a sudden you have to actually, acknowledge those consequences as consequences for your actions. You had a lot of fun shopping. Shopping is fun. It's called retail therapy. I've heard people call it retail therapy. It's good therapy for your mind, body, spirit, soul, whatever. But 30 days later, you have to pay that bill. Now you're depressed. So what are you going to do? Go shopping again to feel good. 30 days later, you get another bill. You're depressed. So you go shopping again, then you get depressed, right? It's a vicious cycle. So we have to take a look at this and say, what's going on now? Why are travel increases increasing 89%? Maybe that's legit. You go on a vacation. You didn't have a vacation in the past 12 months, so maybe that's justified. Auto increase, maybe there's repair on the car. Groceries jumped 14.9%. Health and fitness 10%. Dining out 30%, and cell phone 43%. So this should be pretty stable, I think. Dining out should be kind of stable. Might fluctuate a little bit. Kind of depends, right? So let's look at one more example here. Detect anomalies or spikes in one large payment. So now we're going to look at the Z-scores. This is based on the category and the amount. And we're looking at 2 standard deviations from the norm. So the norm would be the average. One standard deviation would be, I think, 33% over or under the normal distribution curve. Okay, you can Google this. Let's see, normal distribution. Really quick. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you can look at that. Here it is. This is a good visual right here. So I think this will suffice. Oh, no, come on. I don't want to click cookies. I hate these things that make you click cookies. I don't want to do it, guys. I don't want to click cookies. Okay, let me look at this one. This is fine. Okay, so this should be fine without clicking any cookies. It's very annoying. So 68%, so 34% over, 1 standard deviation, 34% under standard, 1 standard deviation, 68% combined. So it's 1 standard deviation, positive, negative, 95%. So it's like 45.5 or 7.5, I think, for 7.5, whatever. So that's 2 standard deviations. 2 standard deviations that covers 95% of the normal distribution curve, and 3 standard deviations covers 99.7% of the standard deviation curve, the normal bell-shaped curve, with 0.3% deviation hanging out in the tails, 0.15 in each tail, I guess. So that's a normal distribution. We are looking for 2 standard deviations above and below the mean. So the highest 0.25%, the lowest 0.25%, combined 5%, that's two standard deviations. Does anything exceed that? That's a big threshold to cross. If anything exceeds that, we really need to take a look and figure out why. And we have one large time payment of 147.93 detected on auto assurance for 2024 7/29. So July 29th, sorry, July 29th, 2024. There was one big expense. So that's all well and good, right? So what did we accomplish? We set up an AI agent, right, to help us reduce credit card charges and recommend investments with the savings that we've accumulated, right? That's exactly what we did, right? No, we haven't done any of that. If you're paying attention, all we did was apply common sense and business logic and rules and guidelines and explicit instructions for the computer what to do. I'm telling the computer what to do. I'm saying do the grouping by the category, by the date, by the month. Show me the amount. Show me the overage and the underage. Show me the high spending. Show me the over two standard deviations. Show me the spending insights, right? Plot the charts, plot the graphs. Show me the breakdown of all my past 12 months of credit card transactions, right? And show me the categories, right? And the total sum. That's what I did. So I gave the computer a bunch of explicit instructions and I said, do this and then do that. And that's all well and good. But I think we can do a much better job by using AI agents and leveraging these agents and giving them a very general guideline or very general instructions, or actually just asking a basic question. So I want the AI agent to look at the historical spend on my credit cards, look at this time series data that I feed into it, and you tell me what's going on. Okay. So before I was doing a lot of work, using a lot of brain power. It was very taxing, very labor intensive, time consuming. There was a lot of effort that went into the analysis. So we're about 2/3 done. So stick with me till the end here. So the first 2/3, I'm telling the computer everything to do, right? And you have to know Python pretty well. You have to know all the instructions, set up the code, run it. If there's a mistake, debug it. That's a lot of work, guys. That's a lot of work. I'm kind of a lazy person. I want to create an AI agent and give the agent very basic instructions. Just ask it a basic question, and the agent tells me everything I need to know. Okay, so we're going to take this thing and flip it on its head and do the exact opposite of what we were doing before. So the scripts above use rule-based heuristics. What's a heuristic? I have a video on my channel about this if you're curious. Heuristic is a way to create a very simple, very accurate representation of data or do a very accurate analysis, but it might not be exactly perfect or exactly precise, but it's going to be very accurate, and it's very quick and very fast to execute. So you sacrifice maybe a little tiny precision, but the heuristic runs very quick and it's over and it gives you the results that are mostly spot on, could be off a little bit. It's not guaranteed to be 100% correct, but it runs fast, right? Now I want to take an AI agent, introduce the concept of LLMs. This is a large language model, and just give it very basic information. I'm going to ask it a question, use this reinforcement learning potential of this agent to generate personalized financial plans based on historical spending patterns, and recommend to me how money can be saved, and then recommend how that saved money can be invested in different investment vehicles. Okay, so we're going to do complete opposite of what we did before. Before, a bunch of explicit instructions. I tell the computer what to do, and it does it. It's very obedient, very disciplined. Now I'm just going to ask a very general question to the agent. The agent's going to tell me everything I need to know. So I go ahead and set up the agent. Now you have to go ahead and get your API key from ChatGPT. If you go down here, I have instructions where to go. You can copy and paste this. I don't need that anymore. I already have my standard deviations. I'm going to paste this into here. Go ahead and sign up for an account. It's fast. It's quick. Oh, I didn't sign into this thing. Anyways, I know this thing works. So I'm not going to, let me see, go in there. Your profile line, it says what? Let me try one more thing. It says I'm logged in. They actually get the wrong. No, that's on it. Oh, maybe this? It's weird because if I paste it from something else. Oh, that's not it. Oh, that's right. Chat GPT. Okay. Yeah, this is it. Did I paste in the wrong thing? Let me see. That's right. I don't know why this thing's bugging out. Anyways, that's it. That's the API key URL. So you go there, apply for key. Very fast, takes 60 seconds. There's a couple options. You can get one for free. It does phenomenal things for you. If you get the paid version, it's actually more accurate. It's actually, the responses are better, more custom designed, more tailored to your specific situation. You can choose either one. Get the free one. It performs quite well. If you want to pay $20 a month, you get more bang for the buck. I pay $20 a month. I think it's worth it. The reports and the feedback I get and just the analysis that the tool is capable of is just like a whole nother world, right? It's totally worth $20 a month for me. So you can get the free one or the paid one, copy paste it in there. Now you've trained the model on all the historical data. I'm going to ask it one simple question, right? I'm not going to give it all the explicit instructions and go back and forth and do everything I've already done before. Everything has been done. This thing is done. The agent is ready to look at the information that's already been fed into it and start answering questions. So the question I'm going to propose here, how can I reduce my food and entertainment spending by this month? Now, I don't have my API key in here because it's personal and confidential. I can't share that. But I guarantee you go here, you apply for an API key. I'll give you your key. You copy, paste it in there, run this thing, and you'll get exactly what you want. All you have to do is change this question that you ask the agent or keep it the same. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. You have to replace your API key. That's the only thing that you need to do. This can stay the same. This can be changed. It's up to you. So here's the question. How do I reduce my food and entertainment spending? So here's some recommendations. Let me help you get started. Food, cook at home, grocery bills, make strict grocery list, buy in bulk, buy frozen, reduce waste, grocery store, buy generic brands. So that is great, guys. This is a totally different experience I'm getting from this agent than what I got over here. It's literally telling me the spending was here, this was your historical spend, dining out and cell phone and so on and so forth. So it's giving me a literal kind of feedback mechanism for what happened. This agent is giving me recommendations into the future, how I can plan better into the future, right? And it's giving me guidelines. You can even call it guardrails that we operate within, right? So we don't drive off the road. We don't drive into a ditch. We have guardrails here that is set up for us by this agent. We follow this, we will save money, right? So this is how to save money on food, how to save money on entertainment. That was a question. How do I reduce my food and entertainment expenses this month? So we saw the food side. This is the entertainment side. Free entertainment. Well, it can't beat that. If it's free, it's for me. That's my motto. Streaming subscription services, library. Go to the library and rent books. Don't buy books. Limit dining out, discount days, socialize at home, and reduce alcohol. Fantastic recommendations. We have 7 prime recommendations there. I love it. Now we can go back to the business logic, right? And go back and group by category and some amount. And we can look at the top categories here, and ascending equals false. So that means descending. So the top categories by spend in descending order. So the highest is going to be first, the lowest is going to be last. And we look at these categories over here, travel, shopping. I think this is what we saw before. Auto insurance was 2901, travel 9942. Wasn't that the same thing? I think so. Okay. Yep, same exact thing. So auto insurance 2901, 9942. So continuing where we left off. But also I'm asking the agent for help with this. What are the 3 specific ways I can reduce my spending this month? So I backtracked just a little bit to look at the categories here and the actual spend. So that's the business logic. It's giving me literal calculations on the categories and the amounts spent, summing all the amounts. Now the AI agent kicks in right here based on this question. What are 3 specific ways I can reduce my spending this month? It gives me 3. 1, 2, 3. Doing exactly what I said. So somewhat explicit, but the vernacular and the verbiage and the syntax that it returns in these sentences is totally made up, but in a realistic fashion, but totally made up by the agent, right? So it's not like a literal, transactions of what happened historically, but based on the past, how can we plan efficiently for the future to save money? And then the next step you'll see in just a minute, take the savings and invest that in different investment vehicles so we can make money. We're saving money and making money at the same time, right? So it's a win-win. So the agent comes back with number 1 of the 3 recommendations. Remember, what are the 3 specific ways I can reduce my spending this month? So reduce travel expenses. Your latest travel expense is attributed to travel. That's the number 1 expense. If we can cut this by a certain margin, and I'm just guessing 30, 40%, maybe 50%. If we can cut this in half, we're saving a lot of money, almost 5,000. If we can cut that in half somehow, put that into the market, put that into an index fund, put that into CDs, into treasuries, right? So reduce travel expenses. That's the number one expense. Limit shopping habits. So shopping is number two. So it already knows. Number one is travel. Shopping is number two. How can I reduce my top three? Reduce shopping. Try to limit this by making a list before you go shopping and sticking to it. Cut out non-essential items or consider buying secondhand or larger items where possible. Online shopping can also be a major source of unnecessary spending. So consider uninstalling shopping apps or blocking e-commerce sites. That's phenomenal recommendation, right? Number three, cut down on the cell phone bill. Number three is the cell phone bill. So this guy's got us covered. This AI agent knows exactly what's going on. With like no explicit instructions whatsoever, it figured this out, right? What are three specific ways I can reduce my spending expenses? It knows travel's number one, shopping's number two, cell phone's number three. Number three, cut down the cell phone. If you switch to a less expensive phone plan, consider a no contract or prepaid cell phone service. Make sure it uses Wi-Fi where possible instead of mobile data. Some companies also offer employee discounts, so check with your employer if you have a partnership or any service with any service provider. Also, rather than upgrading your cell phone each time a new model comes out, common sense, guys. Try to extend the life of your current phone by taking good care of it. And in conclusion here, keep in mind it's important to balance out cutting back with maintaining a standard of living, right? We don't want to live like a monk and cut down all our expenses to zero and go into hiding, right? That's not exactly a fruitful lifestyle. You want to enjoy your life and live, but cut back on the expenses. Try to be responsible, be fiscally accountable for your actions, right? And save some money, take the difference, invest it in the market. That's the next step right here. So category summary, we're looking at the sum of transactions. We saw that before. Flexible categories can be dining, travel, wine, beer, entertainment, shopping, subscription. So again, some things could be necessities, maybe groceries. You need groceries, you need food for nutritional value, you need to live, right? But do you need beer and wine? No, not necessarily. Do you need to dine out every night of the week? No, you don't. Do you need to go out every Friday? Probably not, right? Cut back, save some money, take the difference, invest it in the stock market, right? Now let's look at the different question here based on my recent spending. Here are the categories I can cut back on, okay? So the question is, what is a smart way to invest this amount based on medium risk tolerance, okay? So we have our savings. We're saving about $15,000, right? We saw that over here. So half of that, there's, that's 5. This is 25, and I'm gonna round up to 25. We're saving $10,000, okay? So saving 10 grand over the course of the year. That is about, how much per month? 800 per month, give or take, okay? If you can cut down 800 per month, you'll save 10,000 by the end of the year. I don't think it's gonna be the end here. If you cut back 800 per month, you're still going to have a decent life. The only difference is you're saving $800 per month, 10,000 per year. So the question to the AI agent, what is a smart way to invest this money based on medium risk tolerance? Now, I'm not super risky. I don't want to gamble a lot and maybe lose all. I'm not very risk adverse, and I'm going to pick a very, very safe investment that is not going to lose money, but it's hardly going to make any money. And I'm going to have basically no capital gains. That doesn't make sense to me. I want something in between, in the middle, okay? So some potential for capital gains and some positive return with a little downside risk, but not massive risk. So the agent comes back with stock market, put 50%, 2371.84. That's very specific. Now, I don't know if we have to, manage down to 84 cents of that amount. Let's round it $2,400 per month. If we can put $2,400 per month into the stock market, and that's more than the 800 we said a few minutes ago. But if you can bite the bullet and get this into the stock market, 50% of this into the stock market, I see, per month, yeah, that's more, okay, so 800. So we're gonna bite the bullet, make some sacrifices here, go from 800 up to 2371. Now this is not forever. Try to do it for a few months. If you can survive on that, then keep at it, keep doing it. If you feel like your lifestyle is being compromised, maybe go down to 800 per month. Okay, we're getting very aggressive here. We started with 800, hypothetical. We bumped it up to 2,400. 8 times 3 is 24. So, okay, 3 times more than we initially earmarked for this investment, but let's try to deal with it. And again, if we can make it work, that's fine. We'll acclimate, we'll get used to it. On the high side, not on the low side. This is called hedonic adaptation, right? People can adapt to something very easily. on the high side, if you go from a one bedroom dirt bag apartment in, I don't know, a bad neighborhood in New York City, and all of a sudden you hit the jackpot and now you're living in a mega mansion, 10 bedrooms, 10 bathrooms, 12,000 square feet. That's called hedonic adaptation. You can adopt to that change. Hedonism is a love of comfort and wealth and abundance. You love abundance. Hedonism is the love of abundance and wealth and prosperity and luxury. You love luxury, right? You can also acclimate or adapt to the opposite, which is also hedonic adaptation, but it's on the downside. So if you go from that 10 bedroom, 10 bathroom mega mansion down to a scumbag apartment in a bad neighborhood in New York City, that's going to be tough to adapt, but you can adapt. After a few months, you will adapt. You'll get accustomed to that, and you're going to be kind of used to that. Okay, so it goes both ways, on the upside and the downside. So the point is, try to get used to it. If you can deal with it, keep at it. You can save more money, and you'll achieve your financial goals quicker. If you can't, then go back to 800 per month. You can't save 2,400, go to 800. At least it's some savings. So 50% goes in the stock market, 25% goes into bonds. That's 1,185. Real estate gets 15%. That's $711. Peer-to-peer lending. So that's more, I'm not even sure what this is. The AI agent came up with this. I'd have to look at that. Lending money to individuals or small businesses in return for interest. Oh, I guess that makes sense. I don't think I've heard of that, peer-to-peer lending, but whatever. 5% we can put in peer-to-peer lending, emergency savings, 5%. You need something for a rainy day, so put in $2,307 into, what's it called, like a rainy day fund account or whatever. So this agent is doing some pretty cool stuff, right? It understood the credit card transactions. It told us how to do the savings. It told us how to do the investing, right? All we're doing is asking basic questions. What is the smart way to invest this amount based on medium tolerance for risk? That's my question. It comes back with a recommendation. What are 3 specific ways I can reduce my spending this month? That's just a natural question I'm just asking. I'm not creating tons and tons of business logic here. I'm just asking the normal question to this AI agent. How can I reduce my food and entertainment spending this month, right? Just basic informational types of questions, formative questions. That's all it is, guys. So pretty simple. Once the AI agent is set up and trained on your historical credit card transactional data, you can ask it questions about anything. It can give you customized recommendations. It's going to be different for every single person. For you and me and your friends and my family and your family, we're all going to get custom recommendations for investments and for saving opportunities from this AI agent. You don't have to worry about like all the logic, all the business acumen, all the did I get this right? Did I do the aggregation right? Did I do the grouping right? It doesn't matter, right? The AI agent doesn't care about all that. It's taking everything, almost transacting with you like a human being, like you're talking to a financial professional, and it's giving you feedback about how to save money and how to make investments. So that's pretty phenomenal, guys. I think this is really, really, really cool stuff. That's why I put together the video. I learned a couple of things doing this, and hopefully you do too. Okay, I want to share my findings with you so we can all benefit and all learn together. Okay, collective intelligence. If I've seen further, it's because I stood on the shoulders of giants, right? Who said that? Isaac Newton. He invented calculus and the whole basis for mathematics that's used by scientists, engineers, mathematicians, statisticians, computer professionals, financial professionals, right? He built this whole framework of mathematics. But how did he do that? Did Newton invent math? No, he took it, leveled it up way beyond anything that anyone had seen prior to that. But he had a whole foundation that he built his findings on because of mathematicians that came before him. Let me see. I read the history. I forgot some of this stuff now. If I have seen by saying shoulders of giants. Okay, so this quote was attributed to Isaac Newton. He wrote it in his letter to Robert Hooke in 1675. This means that scientific progress is built upon the work of discoveries of those who came before Newton's statements, acknowledging the contributions of his predecessors. Now, who's his predecessor? I want to find out. The concept is much older, dating back to the 12th century of Bernard Chartreuse. But I want to see who his predecessors were. Isaac Newton. Okay, how about this? Mathematicians before. Yeah, we're going way off on a tangent here. Famous mathematicians throughout history. Oh, this should give it. Several brilliant mathematicians made significant contributions before Newton, Euclid. Okay, so Euclid came before Newton, right? Archimedes, Pythagoras came up with Pythagorean theorem, and Doptothanus was known for his work in number theory and algebra. Oh, Fibonacci. Okay, so these great mathematicians came before Newton. He accumulated all the work that was produced by all these remarkable individuals, and then created calculus. And he created a whole framework for mathematics that is fundamental to what we use all across the world today. And now we're entering a brand new era of artificial intelligence, and we have these AI agents that can take all this collective intelligence from Newton, from Fibonacci, from Pythagoras, and all these Euclid, all these guys that came back in the day, and use these AI agents to learn this body of knowledge and collectively transfer that into a format that we can read in basic English syntax here, and we can educate ourselves and share our education with other people, right? So it's a full cycle. It keeps going over and over. We can share this with our kids, with the people that come after us, the next generation, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to wrap it up in a second. What's the takeaway here with the medium risk tolerance? Okay, so it's going on about risk investment tolerance. You can consider a diversified portfolio, both conservative and aggressive. Stocks and bonds, 60%, mutual funds, 30%, real estate investment trusts, REITs, 10%. Overall, remember that investing is long-term. It's a long-term commitment, and it's important to make regular reviews and adjustments to your portfolio based on changes in market conditions or your financial goals. It's advisable to consult with a financial advisor to help tailor investments according to your specific circumstances. Also consider having an emergency fund that covers 3 to 6 months of expenses, and it's held in a savings account. So that's it, guys. I think we beat this horse to death. That's pretty much it. How to create an AI agent to reduce your credit card charges and take the savings that you accumulate and invest that in different vehicles to generate capital gains and cash flows for you into the future. So hopefully that made sense. I know it's a whirlwind. That's a lot of stuff. If you need, by all means, pause the video, take a break, go get a snack, get some Diet Coke or whatever you need, and then come back and finish it up. It's a lot of stuff. It took me a while to put together, to debug it, and spend some time grooming and curating this whole thing and cultivating it. But I think it turned out pretty well. Hopefully you agree. Hopefully this is worthwhile investment of your time. I try to make all of these informative and educational and inspirational too. So I'm going to wrap it up right here. I think that's good. And thanks for your time today, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.